Okay, so just flat out, is this a good deal or a bad deal?
I would say I don't like anything about the deal, except it's probably a next necessary step to do what the president campaigned on and said he wanted to do. And I think a vast majority of the country supports is end America's longest war. So there's no way in the world you can trust the Taliban to deliver on anything other than being a deadly, murderous cult. And it's going to continue to be that. But the people of Afghanistan and their elected leadership have to be the ones to balance and deal with that. The United States cannot remain deployed indefinitely in that part of the world, I don't believe. And so I think it's a necessary step. But I think there's just a lot about the deal that I have grave reservations about. But I think the president is delivering on his word. And frankly, anyone who wants to criticize him, what's been their solution for the last 20 years just about? So, I mean, you've got to give a chance to see where this goes. But no one in their right mind would think that peace is about to break out in Afghanistan.
I mean, I was looking at the at least details of it that were released online. And I get that there are some freaking out and saying that this is, and I've actually seen some people say that this is similar to when Barack Obama was pulling out of, Iraq and telegraphed it, and it's going to create the same power vacuum. But I mean, we're talking about Taliban, and we're talking about parts of the Middle East where there has always been a power vacuum. So what changes except for the fact that we keep spending lives in this area, and it's not our fault it's not our. I understand going there as opposed to them coming here, but at the same time, haven't we already made that point? And at what point in this story arc does this turn into we're trying to introduce them to democracy, which isn't our responsibility?
Well, I think that's been a problem from the get-go. I support the yearning to try to share freedom with other people, inspire them, be a good example of those things. All those are great aspirations, but we are dealing with a dangerous and deadly world, especially in a part of the world where we're never going to have decisive impact unless we go in with overwhelming military might, and our country isn't going to support or sustain that. And so we're left with what kind of forces are we willing to bring to bear to play somewhat of a whack-a-mole strategy. If something kind of pops up that's a threat to us, we reserve the right to go in and eliminate that threat. And then it's back to you guys having to rebuild and regroup, to put pressure on our regional allies to do more. From the beginning of the aftermath of the Afghan war, we've done very little to collaborate with the country of India, where there's 1 billion people, a major military, and a neighboring state that has a vested interest in that part of the world. There's just so many things we haven't really done to leave it to the regional powers to do their part, but we're going to have some kind of a testing period to see what our level of manageable risk is. I support the president driving in this direction. It's just a really hard thing to swallow when you still have fresh memories for some of us of what happened on 9/11 and who's responsible. And I don't have confidence that part of the world is going to bring peace.
Yeah, well, because, I mean, what are our options over there? You either, I mean, winning obviously is the option I think everybody would like. You want to win, but you have to, there's certain things that you got to do in order to claim victory, or you just continue fighting, and what is the end goal? Maybe you get into some diplomacy or you lose. And I mean, it doesn't seem as though the United States, and I think this goes back even into the Obama era, the United States didn't, I don't know what their plan was after, I guess, the first year there. What was the plan for victory? It seems like when people are asking questions, the American people should know exactly what our plans for victory are over there, and it should be easy to articulate and not something that has to be debated about on cable news shows, So if we're not doing any of those things, then get out.
Well, what the United States and our forces are best at are major military operations. Really, there's no peer in human history to the awesome power of our military. When focused on a military objective, we can achieve it at a very, very high percentage rate. And what we aren't going to ever be good at, and really can't be good at, is taking over and running other people's countries. And so you take Afghanistan, for instance. If the duly elected leadership in Afghanistan wants to make a deal with the Taliban in order to try to have some kind of a peace agreement, what are we doing trying to say yay or nay in those circumstances? We kind of have to honor the sovereignty of the country we said we were trying to help liberate from the grips of the Taliban. If they want to make a deal, shouldn't they know more of the risks than we do? Our interests are trying to maintain the military capability and deterrent to keep it from destabilizing more than that country.